worst, only Temple of Science or something of that nature, then you start a school, just you and your children. And then you go outside and you ask anybody else that wants to do that. And then you keep it moving, because until we do that, we're not going to be successful.
Greetings. How y'all doing? All right. Got some coffee with one little bit. On the school thing, of course, you know everything this, and I agree with totally. But I want to bring some information, some stats, so you can see how important it is. The organic part of it. One thing is, if you want to start a school, you can simply say this sister or some sister that's corrected the status $75 a day. All right, we got 10 parents. We kick out $75 a week. All right, 10 parents. To start with 10, $75 a week. Pay her or him, whoever the teacher is, and run the school. That's your school. Our school started out in one area where you would have the 12th grader, the 5th grader, the 1st grader, all in one room. And then they took it and divided them up. They took his high information, her high information, and left me here. You understand? This is what the Europeans did. So you keep in mind, you have to know the origins of the government that you're against, or that's how they'll go. We have to, our plans, whatever our plans are, they have to be long-term and short-term. We can't think because something that we created, we became a part of in our lifetime isn't working. Things fail, things succeed. But our things have to be generational. Whatever it is that we're going to create, whatever it is that we're part of, we can't just quit something because it didn't work for 3 years that you was a part of. You understand? Public schools, we are 17%. But we are 41% of the special ed classes and 6% of the gifted classes. You said the boys. All right. These are stats from Dr. Johnson Jr. for all this symposium in Jacksonville, claiming young black males for Jacksonville's future. Very powerful. You did a great job for a little limited amount of time that he had. But we brought up some important information, which I'm going to cover some of those stats. And basically, those stats are nationwide stats, and you can take those nationwide stats locally and see how, when those children are in those schools, how they affect the economy. When they suspend us out of school instead of in-school suspension, what do you think we're going to do out in the streets? We're not going to go home, we're not going to go to the library. You understand? Okay. I want to read something to you. I'm going to show you about this government. In 1905, dissertation for Columbia Teacher College, Elwood Curley, the future dean of education at Stanford, wrote that schools should be factories in which raw products, children, are to be shaped and formed into finished products, manufactured like nails, and specifications for manufacturing will come from the government and industry. He said again, and the specifications for manufacturing the product, our children, will come from the government and industry. The nation, the Rockefeller Education Board, which funded the creation of Newark Public Schools, issued a statement which read the part. In our dream, people yield themselves with perfect docility to our molding hands. The present educational conventions, intellectual and comparative education, fade from our minds. The unhampered by tradition, we work our own good, will upon the grateful and responsive folk. We shall not try to make these people or any of their children into philosophers or men of learning or men of science. We have to raise up from among them. In other words, we're not going to raise up authors, we're not going to raise up educators, poets, or means of letters. We should not search for embryo great artists, painters, musicians, nor lawyers, doctors, preachers, politicians, statesmen, or whomever have ample supply. We have enough. The task we set for ourselves is very simple. We will organize children and will teach them to do in a perfect way the things their fathers and mothers are doing in an imperfect way. So, when we talk about self-determination, who knows what Coochie chocolate is? Tell me what it is, brother. Yeah. Fuji Chocolate Cooperative. Wrong. Fuji Chocolate is self-determination. All right, this is one of the principles of quantum. My favorite, because this is what's going to set your path. What you determine for your children. We send them to public schools, and you don't have involvement, you have no involvement, which I'm going to cover parenting skills, so you know, for those who are parents and those who have older children, wonder why your children are where they are. You're going to learn from me tonight why. We're going to talk about low involvement, high anticipation, or your involvement, whether it's high, low, medium, whatever it is, and your not anticipation, but your expectation, and the expectation from the teachers. Another fact is 83% of the public school teachers are European females. That's why the majority of our boys are in special education. And in London, it's the opposite. It's a masculine ran educational system, and the women, the daughters, the children are in special education. So, self-determination is like this. If you don't like the public schools, you create your own. If you don't like the government, you create your own state, which creates your status, right? And then you can move on to other things. Thank you.
Alright, that was a topic that was concerned to be the home school. Does anybody have any other issues that's concerning them? Anything that's on their mind right now? Brother, what's your name?
This is Brother Jesse. I just resided out here in Delaware about a year ago, originally from Philly. And one thing I'm telling you is the vaccine. I just had a son 2 weeks ago. And I'm definitely not trying to get my son vaccinated. And I don't know why I allowed my lady to let our son get hepatitis B shot. I know that, and I know a doctor who by the name of Dr. God, who does one store, you know, how to do it, which really that vaccine. So that's my point of view. But my problem is that the lady, she spoke about baby, and she wanted me to teach my baby about baby. And she told me that she had to get my son vaccinated or to go. So then we need information and forms that we can give out to our people, especially about vaccines, that we can be able to leave the country without them, you know, stopping us.
Yes. Now, again, this is very important. What Brother Diallo said, the sister said, what I've been telling you. When we opened up, we said status. See, that's a requirement for state property to vaccinate. You understand? But it's not a requirement for non-state property. So you must again understand what wardship is. That's why we said that the first issue is status. See, so if that's not approached, you can't approach the argument with any legal validity. Not that you can't make the argument. And the other weak thing amongst us that we have to fix, see, you're a mate and you must be in harmony. So the same principles of self-authority, when you say self-authority, that means sovereignty. So when you use the word sovereignty and self-authority, they're related. And so if you don't have birthright, you don't have sovereignty, even if it's split, and you don't have self-authority. That means they can impose and override whatever claim that you might make. Now, and this is why it's also important, knowing that our people have been under European reconstructed miseducation, that this information must be shared with your family, because they will oppose you. Because the misinformation is designed to create division amongst us. Meaning that we are set up educationally to undermine each other. So her miseducation, meaning well, she can look at you as not knowing what you're talking about, or you don't know the law. You know a little bit about what birthright is, you will appear to contradict her, and she will think that you just come from a belief perspective, not understanding rights of Aboriginal peoples. See, being Aboriginal, because you must set your stats because you have the right to determine your